Hello, Internet. So yeah, I'm almost a week late with my comic book reviews. I just wanted to get them up because I've been slacking on it, and I've like read them all, so I'm not actually doing it like my usual style where I read it and then I get my impressions. I'm just skimming over them a second time after reading it the first time, with like the thoughts in my head a bit like not as fresh, but whatever. So I'm gonna start off with Uncanny X-Men number 30. I mean not 30. Wow, number 20. And yeah, so we start off, and you have Hijack getting interrogated because that's where the last issue ended by Maria Hill, and she's all like, "Where's Scott Summers?" And he's like, "Dude, I don't know." And then the two Shield agents with her are like, "Man, we have Scott Summers. He's in Chicago. There's a Sentinel attack." And then she's like, "Does he know where, or like, does he know where the Sentinel's coming from?" And then Hijack's like, "He thinks you're sending them." He's like, okay." And they just leave him, and he's like all distraught. So they go back to the helicarrier, and this really cool happens. So basically, they go back to the helicarrier, and then Mary Hill's like, Cyclops, it's just these X-Men, and then like before anything can happen, Cyclops comes in, and he's like being 10 steps ahead of me or whatever, and then she's like, "You're under arrest," and then she starts like barking out orders, but like nobody's can't really do anything because he has the Cuckoo sisters with her. The Cuckoo sisters with him, and he just like teleported in a la magic. So that was cool. So like the Cuckoo sisters are basically just like mind jacking everybody as they then proceed to like mind probe Maria Hill and like find out what she knows about the Sentinels, because like Cyclops is there and he's like, "Okay, see what she knows," and just like they start looking through her thoughts and whatnot, and they find some funny stuff. And then so yeah, that happens, and then he's like, "All right, well, you don't know what's happening, but there's still the possibility of these, Sentinels coming from S.H.I.E.L.D. And until you can prove otherwise, consider us at war." So it's like, oh, Uncanny X-Men and S.H.I.E.L.D. now at war. So it's like, oh, that's great. This storyline, I'm loving it. And then after the Cuckoos release her, she's like, "Crap, I've been compromised. Red alert. The X-Men are just here. We gotta find them." And then we go to Madripoor. Well, actually, before that happens, like when she, like after she like says all that stuff, the rest of her Shield agents in the room just like collapse. But yeah, we go to Madripoor. It's really weird what happens because I guess Bob's been taking the mutant growth hormone, which last time we saw him in Madripoor, it just seemed like he was normal. But then this time you see him, and he's like kind of cracked out. He's wearing like sunglasses, but he takes them off, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Mystique, I just needed one more hit." And then and then she's like, "If you just needed some, you could have just asked." And she's like, "I didn't know. I needed for nobody to know where Dazzler's being kept, and that we're getting the mutant growth hormone from her because Cyclops has psychics on his team, so they could just like go into your mind and be like, oh, we found what we're looking for." And so she's like, "You've kind of compromised us. If you do this again, things aren't going to be cool." And so she gives him like a bit of the mutant growth hormone or whatever. But yeah, then she's off to continue being Agent Dazzler because she gets called away by Maria Hill. And she's like, "Where's Scott Summers?" And she's like, "Well, I don't know where he is, but I know where Magneto is because I saw him in Madripoor." Because like Maria Hill's like, "Why are you in Madripoor anyway? He's not there." And then she's like, "Well, Magneto is." And then Maria Hill's like, "Oh, well, in that case." Because like in a couple issues ago, they were basically Magneto was like a double agent, but now they don't really know if they're still on this side. And then he totally had a fallout with falling out with Mystique. So it's like, oh, what's going on now? And then it's really interesting too because it shows again, like it showed this character like multiple times. I don't know how many, but like the issue before Battle of the Atom, there was like a person with some sort of helmet on in this room full of all these like mechanic things and robotic things and whatnot. And we see it again, and then Maria Hill like makes this comment, we can't just have some person sitting on top of an army of robot sentinels in secret forever. I mean, that's not possible. But then she like throws that line out, and then like you see like in the panel it kind of zooms out, and it seems there's at least like four. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 sentinels in the panel. So like who knows how many that person has like manufactured or made, or like if they have like a whole army, that'd be crazy. But it seems it's like alluding to this person is like sending the sentinels for the attacks, but then we still don't know how does that person know where Cyclops is at all times. But this is like another thing that Cyclops is trying to find out, which we're about to get to. So Benjamin Deeds leaves his apartment, or is that no? I'm sorry, that's not Benjamin Deeds, but Hijack. He leaves his apartment, and there's like a shield spy that's like this old lady, and she's like, "Oh, I see him. He's on his way." And then it's cool because like what happens is like he doesn't say anything, but he just like grabs his uniform and like I guess he's just like, okay, I gotta warn Cyclops about this or something, or I'm going back to the X-Men. So I guess they're just gonna like follow him back, and he might track them back to Canada in a Weapon X facility, which is where they're at. So we'll see. And then we're back to what was it, the Professor X school or whatever, the Team Uncanny school, and then Cyclops is there. He's like, okay, well, clearly whoever did this lured us out by using Cerebro to, make us think there was a new mutant, and then we went there, and then we got attacked, because that's what happened. And then he's like, okay, so we can't trust Cerebro anymore. And the only other person besides Magneto that knows how to use it is, or like one of the students asks, is like, okay, so who knows how the Cerebro thing works anyway? And then they just like start throwing out names like, or Emma and Magic are like, well, Magneto, Charles Xavier, probably Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and then Cyclops is like, and Beast. So it's like, those are the suspects right now, but it still doesn't seem like it's any of them that are behind this. And then Magic and Cyclops go to the Jean Grey school because Cyclops is like, okay, I'm going to confront Beast about this because I know he's like in the future he will hate me, and I know he hates me now, so we'll see what happens. And then he turns up at the school, but then before they can have like any type of conversation, because everybody's like, you're a jerk, Cyclops. Like Storm, Rachel Grey, Iceman, and Beast are like, why are you here? We don't want you here. Go away. Like before anything can happen, it seems that he is getting like telepathically manipulated, and then he like lets off this optic blast, attacking someone possibly. But I guess we'll find out next issue because it like ends on a cliffhanger. Because when that happens, like there's a like they go back to it cuts back to the helicarrier and the Shield agents and Maria Hill, and then someone's like, "Oh, Commander Hill, we found Scott Summers on satellite. We got like a register from his mutant power firing, I guess, or whatever." And then she's like, "All right, let's go get him." So and it just ends on that cliffhanger. So we'll see what happens. Who is behind it, or maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. This will just keep on going. Of who's behind the snow who's behind the snow attacks, and what happened to Cyclops? Was it on purpose? Was it him getting mind-jacked by somebody? Who knows? But I really enjoyed Uncanny X-Men. It's my pick of the week. I only read like three books this week, so I still haven't read Mass Effect. I will read that. I'll be doing that in the next week's, or I guess tomorrow's, if I get around to it tomorrow. My comic roundup. Because I only have like 3 issues. Because I have Uncanny Avengers, Thunderbolts, and then I don't have anything else. And then Mass Effect Foundation has just been sitting there and I haven't read it, so. But that's it for Uncanny X-Men number 20 and what I thought. And I'll be back with my thoughts on X-Men number 13 after this. Alright, so now I'm going to give my thoughts on X-Men number 13. So, in the last issue is basically the wrap-up of the whole Sisterhood. Well, not really wrap-up, but like Archaea, she was still around, but they took care of her. So that happened, but then in the, if you read like the preview in this issue of like what happened last time, apparently, like the whole situation and like how that went down has like affected everybody differently. And like they get around to, talking about it, or not really talking about it, but they do like show it from like all the different people involved. But I'll get to that. Anyway, so we start off and there's this inmate being transported through this prison, and he breaks out, and then you come to find out that it is Shigo's dad, and he's talking about, I have this ability, or not this ability, but like I've adapted to my surroundings, and like because of this I've been able to like escape my prison that they put me in. So apparently, I guess Shigo's dad is like this bad dude, and he had a son, and and he inherited. I would read it, but it's like, dude, I'm just gonna skim over this, like I said. But yeah, essentially he wants to get Shogo back, but like we don't know why yet. And he's just like, there's one thing I have left, and that's what I and like did he call himself the future? I don't remember. Anyway. Yeah, he calls himself the future. Anyway, we go back to the junior school, and then Manette, I don't know if that's how you say her name, Manette, whatever, her. She is in the danger room training with Rockslide and just like going all out. And it like for me, I'm not familiar with this character, so but like I did read a bit of X-Force, like the last couple issues on the last run. And it does seem like that is like her characterization, where she is very forceful, and she goes for it, and just like there's a word for that or phrase. But anyway, she's doing that here in the danger room. She's like fighting Rockslide. And she's like, "Bring it on, man! Hit me as hard as you can." And so that's happening, and then Storm and Psylocke are having a conversation in the Blackbird hangar, and they're like, "Yep, the danger room is realigning again because Monet's just in there all the time." But then, Psylocke is all, dude, Storm, you need to make a team official, which is like another issue that's been going on since like issue 1. Is like they didn't really formally say that they're an X-Men team, so it's like and then there's like this like cool thing going on between Storm and Rachel Gray, where it's like Storm is like assumed leadership, and then Rachel Gray is like, well, whatever. I'm not gonna do this. I'm above having some argument about who's the leader of the team. So whatever, leader Storm. Or she always like says like these. They're not really backhanded compliments. She's just like saying stuff like, "Oh, all right, leader Storm" or whatever. It's not leader Storm. I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember. Whatever. It's funny. Anyway, so there's Psylocke and Storm in the hangar, and they're talking, and then Psylocke's like, "Dude, just make it official. Just make us a formal team so we can like do missions into the field." And we're ready. We just proved it, like taking down Archaea and whatnot. And then Storm's like, well, we're kind of stretched too thin still, which has been like an issue, like not enough teachers, blah 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 blah. And then she's like, I'm also about to talk to have this, and it's in the morning, so that she's like, I'm about to have my morning cup of tea with my daughter from the future, Chimera. And it's like, I guess I could like kind of be affecting her outlook on things, like I don't want to push my luck or be too. I'm going to be more cautious. And then, Psylocke ends the conversation saying, I hate, or this is or the headmaster Ororo is my least favorite Ororo. And then Storm's like, yeah, mine too. So she's like, yeah, in the position I'm in now, I can't be the leader of the team because I have all these other responsibilities and things I need to look at because, besides Wolverine being the headmaster, it's like, I'm kind of the other. Well, I mean, yeah, actually, Kitty went to Cyclops, so there's other teachers there, but it seems like, Storm and Wolverine are, like, kind of the two running the show. And then, we go to Beast's lab, where he is examining Shogo, and Jubilee's there, and then he's basically saying, okay, he's, like, perfectly fit for a mutant infant and stuff. And then, there's this cool. I'm sorry. I have like this phlegm in my throat right now, and I don't know how to get it out. And I don't want to cough, so sorry for having the word correctly voiced right now. But we go to the security office where Rachel Gray's sitting there, and then there's this conversation that happens, and I guess apparently they were like, it was like hinting at like her and Sublime having a thing, but there was never anything like explicitly shown like of them doing anything. So I was like, that was weird. And then they're having like this conversation when he's leaving. He's just like, okay, well, and she's like, getting mad at him, like, okay, we just helped you, get rid of your sister, and like that was a crazy mission, and you were just sitting here in our school the whole time, and we like just helped you survive. And he's like, okay, well, to be bluntly, I can't do this, and it's complicated because you guys just killed my sister in cold blood. And then and then she's just like sitting there looking at all like the security monitors, and like she's like, oh well, yeah, you killed my mother, so that was really interesting. And then we're like we're at a cool part because it's like it's like X-Men in the front lawn just having fun playing a game of baseball, and then Armor's there as the umpire, and then was it? I think Deep is the pitcher. But yeah, they're playing baseball, and then but things go from like super fun to like crazy instantly, and there's like this at the sound of the ball being hit, and it's like a foul ball. It goes up, and then what's that dude's name? Primal is like he just like falls over, and then everybody sees that, oh no, he's been shot, and then everybody like goes back into the school and they lock it down, and Quentin Quires there and he's like, I can't sense anybody like telepathically. I can't sense anybody out there, so they must have like shot from an extremely far distance, probably. And then we go back to the med bay, and then Beast is like, well, I think this was a what's that word when you do something on this was an intentional attack, and they wanted to send us a message that yes, they could have killed Primal, but they just they just wounded him enough to show him that, or to show us that if they wanted to, they could have killed him. So we should just, if they do, give us some sort of like terms for surrender, we should take them or something. I don't know, but like just to show them, I guess, that the dude is for real, Shogo's father. And then we have a scene which is right after that where I'm not sure if that's Pixie or somebody else with wings on their back that gets like a drink from the water fountain, and then before they can fly back to their room, they just like kill over and pass out on the floor. And then they're back in Jubilee's room, and then she's just like dancing around, and then Shoga's there. But then she gets this message on her phone, and it says, "You have my son. I'm coming to reclaim him. You and everyone else in that school will die. This is the future." And then she just like screams and she like runs out of the room like yelling Storm and Rachel. And it's cool what they've been doing, I think, since like the last 2 or 3 issues. I'd say last 3 issues is this one and the 2 before it. They've done like 2 stories per issue. So it's like the first story is like the ongoing storyline of like whatever's happening, and like the backup story is just just whatever. Well, not just whatever, but it's like it's more of a lighthearted affair, because in the last 2 is basically a Sentinel attack, and you had Jubilee commanding people, which was funny. It's like, why would you play me the leader of the team? And she like mentioned them like about this issue, but whatever, not important. And then this one, it's cool because you have, okay, I don't know who all these people are actually. So yeah, which is another reason I like this idea, because I haven't read X-Men in a long time, so I don't know a lot of these new characters I'm seeing, and I'm like, who are these people? So it's like Rockslide and Brewer there, and then there's some other dude, and I think Hellion, and so yeah, they're there, and they're in they go to the danger room, and then Hellion's talking about, oh dude, I found this program I downloaded off the net or whatever, and it's totally awesome, we should try it out. And like they get in there, and then it's cool. It's just like a cool scenario. What happens? So essentially, what happens? I'll just like whatever. Get to the point. Sorry. So what happens is like they go to the danger room, and then like it's this medieval simulation of all these like troops with like trebuchets and catapults and like cavalry and archers. So it's like Lord of the Rings style. Okay, not Lord of the Rings style because there's no elves and orcs, but feudal ages combat, or I guess non-modern combat with like arrows and swords and whatnot. So you have that, and then and they're all attacking all the mutants, and it's like it's a training simulator, because they're all like, man, what have we just got ourselves into? But then they find out like the security on the what's it called? Because Brew gets shot in the arm with an arrow, and he's like, what did he say? Crap, I don't remember. But yeah, whatever the thing is that like makes it safe for you to be in the danger room is like turned off, and so that happens, and they're like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then like the last panel is just Psylocke being in there, and she's like, yeah, this is my program that you just hacked into. So I've been training here. I think she mentioned this like a couple issues ago. I thought it was just like a throwaway line, but apparently now we're gonna have a whole adventure here with Psylocke and the and some other mutants just in the danger room, having it out in this VR program. So that's pretty fun and cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. And yeah, that was wow. Oh my gosh, I just closed the thing I needed to see. That was issue 13? Yeah, that was X-Men number crap. Let me look it up for you. Yeah, X-Men number 13. I was close to dropping this because, not really dropping it. It's not as good as Uncanny. So I was like, eh. And then, like the way like the stories have been is like, the first issue is like part 1 to 3, and then after that storyline it was some Battle of the Atom stuff, and then you had the storyline with the whole Archaea coming back, and now it's on, I think, Bloodlines Part 1 of crap, I don't remember. But essentially, it's like these long story arcs, and that's kind of one of the things that got me annoyed with Superior Spider-Man, but this isn't 2 months, and it has two, and like I said, it has like 2 stories, so there's like a main story and a backup story, so as long as like one of them is scratching my itch and like good enough. Yeah, this was part 1 of 6, so. But the, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, when they went to the danger room, and they were all like, why are they doing this? They were like, we need to petition, I think Bree said this, he's like, we need to petition the front desk so we can get our own official offshoot X-Men team, or we're going to call it Bromo Superior. So that was great. But, yeah. That was X-Men number 13. I enjoyed it, and I will stop my rambling here and come back with the last book I read last week, which was Miss Marvel number 3, after this. Alright, I'm back with my thoughts on Miss Marvel number 3. So, we pick up where last issue ended. Kamala gets home, and then she's seeing news reports of the previous night when the whole Inhuman mist, or, there's a word for it, jeez, I can't believe I already forgot. Terrigenesis, that. So the Terrigen mist basically spread, and then she got, in Cocoon, got her powers, whatever, and then saved Zoe, I believe was her name. And then she's like watching on the news, and she's like, oh no, it really happened, it wasn't just a dream. And then she's looking up stuff on the internet about, isn't any of this happened to anybody else or whatever. And then there's like this funny like line about, all I can find is stuff about what was it called? It was some game, but it was like similar in sounding to like StarCraft or World of Warcraft or something. Anyway, so she's kind of like weirding out about all the publicity and whatnot and how it actually did happen. And so that's happening, and then like she also got in trouble from her parents, and then but then the next scene is she goes to the mosque with her brother, which was pretty cool because there's like some like commentary there as far as like the separation of the gender within the mosque, and so she's like talking to her friend and stuff about I don't know, it's like weird because she's like trying to like talk to her about it, but she wasn't like being as explicit to be like, oh, I have these powers and whatever. So that was interesting. And then she's like, and then like her friend's like, yeah, let's just go. But then she's like, well, my parents are already like wanting to kill me, so I don't really want to leave because I'll get even more pissed. But then she's like, okay, whatever. And then they get to the Circle Q where the dude that was all like told her parents about where she was at and stuff was, and then she's like, this guy. And so she like leaves. She's like, yeah, that's good. You can go. I'll just see you later. And then they get like, and then like the next scene cuts to school, and they're in like a study session or study hour or whatever. And she's like completely ignoring her friend that told her parents and stuff. And she's like, yeah. Or all the inner monologue is just like, just hope like he gets the clue and just like doesn't bother me. And yeah, I'm just ignoring him. Whatever. But then while she's like at the computer, her powers start to flare up. It's weird. It's weird because like she doesn't, have full control of her powers. So it's just like, she's like, oh, what's that? Oh, my hand. It's getting all weird and stuff. And so she like runs off to the yeah, she's like, I have to get away and run or like make sure nobody sees me transform. And so she just like runs away. And then she goes into the girls' locker room, and she's like, all right, so if I can also, or she's trying to like figure out how to like get her powers under control, but before anything can happen, she basically morphs into like really, really tall mode, and then makes a mess of the locker room. And then before she can leave, apparently like one of the coaches or something comes in. Oh, actually, before that happens, she realizes that she can like shapeshift into other people as well, because she shapeshifts into Amy, or however you say that. And then so yeah, the teacher catches her like after the locker room's been all wrecked and stuff, and she gets her detention. And then so she's like, oh great, now my parents are gonna be even more angry at me. and so she's in detention, and it's funny because she's getting it's just like funny because like she's getting like the call from her the parents, but like the way that they like do the whole how they have that certain dialect and like the way they write it and stuff is always amusing. So there's like all these like all like it's all coming out of her cell phone, and then she's getting in trouble for it in the detention, and then yeah. So then she's on her way back. Oh, also, actually, before I continue, there's like a part in the study hour when you had the friend dude that told her parents about the where she was during the party night when everything happened and she got in trouble. Like his brother was like trying to get him to, I guess, steal for him from the Circle Q and like get all the money out of the register. And so when she goes to the Circle Q after going to detention, she sees like a dude with a gun there, and she's like, "Oh no, it's getting robbed." But then she's like, "Wait a minute, I have powers." So but before that happened, she's like, "Oh wait, I need to let me just call the police with my cell phone." But then she pulls out her cell phone and there's no battery, or the battery's dead. And so she's like, "Well, I have these powers. Let's see if this works." And so she turns into Captain Marvel, or whatever. she does her Captain Marvel thing. And then, like, her hand gets all big and, like, grabs the dude with the gun. And then, she's all, like, beating the crap out of him. He's like, "Oh, don't kill me. I'll let me go, whatever. And then, like, it's weird because before, like, what happens next happens, you have the dude who had the gun say, like, it's not even loaded or whatever. But then what ends up happening is that, I guess, somehow, after Kamal, like, puts the dude down, he gets... I guess the gun misfires or something, I don't know. But she ends up getting shot, and like that's the final panel. So I thought that was like really weird and disappointing because it was like I didn't know where it was going, and I didn't expect that. But it's like it's not really too. I don't know what to say, but like it's like she's not gonna die, so it's like why would they have her get shot in the third issue? So unless it's like showing some other aspect of her power set that we don't know about. So yeah, she's just like sitting there with a bullet wound. So we'll see what happens in the next issue. But I thought this issue was okay. Like all the stuff that happened, I was kind of like, oh, I didn't see it coming, but I was like, not as unexpected as what I would, as like it didn't like catch me as off guard or wasn't as unexpected as I would have liked it to be, but I'll still keep reading it because I'm enjoying the character and cast and all that stuff so far. So, and the art style is very different from like a lot of the stuff I've been reading, so I'm enjoying that. But yeah, Captain Marvel 3. I mean, sorry, Miss Marvel number 3. It was okay. I mean, could have been better, could have been worse. Whatever, no big deal. But yeah, that's it for the stuff I read this week, and I'll be back with my top 3 on Wednesday. So yeah, if I get this uploaded in time. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends or not, that's cool. And until you see or hear from me again, I'm now signing off.